Probably has about 1,000,000 of these in it. Alrighty everyone, we're back here again on another episode of Red Cap Mechanic here on this beautiful 1950 Dodge Meadowbrook. We've been working on it the past 2 weeks or so, and we've made some good progress, which I'm very thankful for, and I'm also very thankful for some cloud cover today. Makes it a little bit more bearable. I also washed my hat, but I also did go pick up some new tires. So we have 5 new tires that are thinner than the old ones, but unfortunately right now we don't have anything to hook them onto, as there's not a lot of parts and pieces here. So I've ordered some brake parts. They're not here yet, but we're gonna try and do what we can until they get here to get them prepped. I've got the brake drums kind of getting cleaned in this solution of cleaning product, and we are going to try and do some more work today. The first thing we want to do is finish up our JB weld patch on the tank underneath, and then we've got a few more projects to try and tackle in the next little bit here. I made a list, so we want to clean up the brake drums and paint them if possible, drain the oil, remove the oil pan and clean it, and try and work on the carburetor a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Alrighty, we're under the car again, as you can probably tell, and we've got our patch that still appears to be holding. I don't see any leaks, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of real quickly fill up the rest of that spot with JB Weld, just in case there were any leaks outside of the area we got. But I'm pretty pleased with how it's been holding, so we'll speed run through that since you've already seen how it goes. And I've got our wad mixed up, and we're just gonna sploosh it on here. Just trying to cover as much of this as we can. Okay, so we've got a really big area covered, so I'm hoping that that will be what we need to keep this tank working at least for a little bit while longer. Okay, time to move on. Okay, according to our list here, the next thing we have to do is clean up the brake drums and spray them black. So that'll help keep rust from forming on them, at least on the outside. So we're gonna grab a wire brush and just start scrubbing them down, and then when they're as clean as we can get them, we'll do some spray painting, which hopefully will be fun. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is pull them out of their little bath and dry them off from the chemical used to clean them with some brake cleaner, because we don't want that chemical to combust or anything, and then we can start with the wire brush, but hopefully the chemical will have loosened up some of the debris. Let's find out. Whoa, on a slant. Alright, so, I mean, it still is rusty, but hopefully it's a bit cleaner. Now, of course, the inside we're not going to be painting, but what we do want to try and get that clean. I was going to have these turned, but the guy left work early, so we're just going to be doing this on our own with a little bit of elbow grease. Alright, so this brush set comes with a black, silver, and gold. I think silver is the steel, so we'll try that one. That seems like that would give us the most bang for our buck. And again, we're not going for perfection here. We just want to get it as clean as we can, so the paint can adhere and stop any further rust. Try and get some of the inside here too. That's a workout. All right, now that we've got her kind of cleaned up a bit, we can just kind of hit her with some brake cleaner. Try and get that off of her. All right, so we got this all scraped down. We'll let it dry, and I'll go ahead and tackle the rest of these, and when I'm done, we'll get back and do the fun part, the spray painting. Well, that took nearly an hour, so it's not quite as fast as it is in the movies or video games, but we got them cleaned up to a fairly good amount. They're not perfect, but that's okay. Our next step is going to be to paint them and see how they go. This is at least the fun part. We're going to be using a black engine enamel high temperature. I think that's probably hotter than the brakes would ever get, hopefully, but I wanted to be sure. I don't know if this is the right choice, but we'll give it a shot, see what happens. Now, the main reason we're doing this is to protect it from any further rust. Secondarily is the looks. You definitely want to do this outside. Thankfully, it's only about 95% humidity, so this should dry in about 6 or 7 weeks. Is it perfect? No. Is it better than it was? Possibly. All right, we'll hit the rest of them up like that and we'll get back to you. Now, paint, I think, is always the easiest, fastest, and cheapest way to make something look a lot better. And the way we're using it here hopefully will allow these drums to last for many, many more years of service. They're going to take a long, long time to dry, since it's very, very hot and humid here, but that's okay. We're not going to be using them again in the next few days because I got to wait for the brake parts anyway. And there's going to be some bugs that get in them and, you know, become a part of the vehicle forever. That's okay. They don't have to be perfect, but hopefully they are a little better than they were, and they're, you know, at least they're kind of shiny now. So I'm going to say that that part of the project has been completed with success. Okay, I suppose we should get on to the oil change. I have a 7-quart bucket thing here. There should be 5 quarts of oil in this, so we should be doing okay. I'm not sure what size this is, so I'm going to use a vice grip to help expedite that. Got to tell you, I'm not super happy about being under a car on jack stands and doing this, but we're going to do what we can. Alrighty, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, right? Or, you know what? Let me find the right size bolt for that. Alright. Here's a 7/8, which is the biggest one I have and is not nearly big enough. Okay. Back to the vice grips. Oh, it moved. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you doing that. All right, so before we pull this off, I am thinking this car was redone with detergent gasoline, which is the modern gasoline. Somebody banged the oil pan up really good. But I suppose we'll find out. And just a little bit longer, because it's still not coming off. Oh, it had a little, uh-oh. Unfortunately, I see some sludge, which may mean that we're going to have to pull the oil pan and see if we can clean it out, because we can't have that in our engine. We want our engine to have the best chance at life it can. There is a little washer on this. I've never seen that before, so that's nice. This will definitely get cleaned up. Oh, is that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I should have done? I should have run the car for a little bit. Oh. Oh no, I feel it. Ah. I feel the sludge. It's a kind of a mushy, it's like mashed potato almost. But it is present. I guess I should have turned the car on and warmed it up a little bit, because that is never going to come out. Oh, now I'm in a pickle. What am I going to do? Okay. I could put the bolt back on and use the oil that I have, put it in there, turn it on for 5 or so minutes, let it warm up, and then take it off. And that might help kind of push it all out. Because this is going to take almost as long as the gas tank took to drain, which was forever. Maybe just let it go. Glug, 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 glug. Because I feel like if this were warm, this process would be going much faster. It is kind of interesting though. I've never seen engine sludge in real life. And I don't want to say it's beautiful, but it's kind of disgusting. That does answer the question of was this detergent oil? And I think we can safely say it either was not, or the people who changed the oil beforehand did not clean this out properly. Let's put some more oil back in it, and then we'll empty it out again and warm it up. Is there any negative to doing that? I will say these gloves are a good investment. They help keep things much cleaner than they would be otherwise. All right, I got the new oil in. This is detergent oil, so I'm going to clean this out immediately because I don't want it to gunk up, but I need it to warm up a little bit. I do have a screwdriver holding the choke closed because I was noticing that it kept being open and it wouldn't run very well. But with the choke closed, it sounds like it's actually running pretty good. I think it's hitting on all the cylinders. Our oil pressure is at 40. Our amp thing is charging. So I'm going to let it run like this for about 5 minutes, and then we'll drain the oil out and see what we can get. been about 5 minutes. The temperature is holding steady at about 160. Let's see what happens if we remove our little makeshift choke holder. Immediately I'm happy. Okay. I'm hearing a hissing as well. So there might be a leak in the carburetor, which is entirely possible. But I think it's warm enough, so we'll shut it down and try changing the oil. Yeah, without that choke on, it's not happy. So the temp gauge is reading at higher than 3/4. The block's 171 in the front, 170 in the rear, 164 at the water neck, 152, 150, 149 at the top of the radiator. Side of the block, 166. So I don't think it got too hot, but it certainly did get hot enough to warm up that oil. So let's drain that and burn ourselves horribly, and yeah, move on. It did warm up down here. All right, let's see if it wants to drain a little bit better now. I am going to use a tool because I am afraid that might be warm. Maybe. It's not the end of the world warm. All right. Let's go. Get the sludge. Go. This was clean oil when I put it in just a few minutes ago. Good news is there's not as much sediment on the top of this oil drain plug as there was. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll let this drain for a few minutes. I don't know if I have enough light left in the day to take that oil pan off, but we'll see how long this takes and we'll get back to you. Okay, it's been about another 5 minutes or so. The steady stream has kind of stopped. There were some a couple of large chunks that came out, but not as many as before. I am also, to be honest with you, kind of nervous about getting under this car when it's jacked up like this, just because I don't know if I trust my jack work that much, so I'd much rather drive it up onto ramps, plus that would give me some more height. So I'm thinking maybe we just do a few flushes like this. It's going to be much more expensive, but I also don't feel any like that thick debris in there anymore. So maybe we got a lot of it out, and just continuing to use this detergent oil will kind of keep flushing the system. I know you're supposed to take the pan off and kind of scrape out the gunk in the bottom, but in all honesty, I think my safety factor of my own life is going to outweigh the safety factor on this engine. Plus I do want to like take this oil pan off and maybe try and hammer the bottom of it, because it's got a big dent in it, and maybe clean it off and maybe paint it or something to prevent any rust. But I don't want to do that when the car's jacked up, just frankly. So I'm not going to. But I will spend the money to buy the oil to do some more flushes like this until we can really make sure we get all of that out of there. But I think that will suffice for now. The oil here is, I mean, you would imagine it'd still be viscous, of course, but I'm not feeling any sediments in it or seeing any silver, like metal, which to me denotes that there's not any serious problems internally on the engine. It doesn't feel rough. It's still like it feels very smooth. I think that strategy is going to be the way to go. Yeah, so we'll do that. But I am kind of losing the light as well, and we got a couple more things to think on. Let's take a look at how our drums are doing. They should be starting to get a little tacky by now. I mean, I know they're tacky, but to touch. All right. Yeah. All right, so they're coming along. Again, the goal was not to make them look perfect. The goal was to try and slow down any rust on them and maybe add a little bit of flair to the vehicle, and I think we've achieved that. I'm going to let these dry as best can dry in this humidity for a few days though. At the end of the day, where are we at? We added more JB Weld to the gas tank, so that problem is hopefully mitigated for right now, and we can work on getting the car on the road and then come back to making that kind of more significant repair later, because the tires were not super cheap. We did clean up the drum brakes and we spray painted them black. They're still drying over there, so good progress there. We did drain the oil, which, you know, went pretty well. We did not remove the oil pan and inspect for sludge, nor did we clean the oil pan and the oil pickup tube, which was one thing that we wanted to try and do, but it didn't happen. We still have on the near-term project is going to be to remove the carburetor, rebuild the carburetor. I do have a carburetor rebuild kit. Then put it back on, which I will take good pictures before taking it off. We'll just say that, because the next thing are brakes. We don't have the parts yet, but they should be in a little bit. So yeah, we've still got a long way to go, but we are slowly but surely kind of making progress. We also need to figure out why the choke, when it's open, it doesn't seem to run very well. One of y'all had mentioned that the jets may be a problem, which I did some research on that, and the jets are part of the fuel system, how it like kind of gets fuel. So if those are clogged up or something, maybe that is causing an issue. I'm hoping the carburetor rebuild kit will fix that, but I will do some research on if the choke would have anything to do with that. Yeah, and then yeah, we're making good progress, slowly but surely. Alrighty, new day. Let's see what we can get done today. First, let's take a look at our drums and see how they're looking. That did dry on all of them, so they're looking pretty good to go. We will of course have to repack the front two with new grease when we put them on, but that's still going to be a little bit while down the road, but you know, at least we're kind of moving on here. And I thought about the car situation and the safety of it, and it's pretty solid. So because it is critical to get under there and clean that sludge, I'm going to give that a shot, and we'll see what happens. If you never hear from me again, you'll know how this turned out. All right, so these bolts are 1/2. This is tricky to use because this doesn't have the locking thing in it, but that's okay. We have to take this oil pan off. That is non-negotiable. Probably has about 1 million of these in it. But that's okay, because at least we're out of the sun. Oh, this is gonna take forever. Ah. Alrighty, we got one out. We'll get back to you when the rest are done. That was an incredibly long and dirty process. I mean, when I pull this out, I'll show you all the gunk that's on it, but I don't know how it would have gotten so gunky. I mean, my dad would kill me if he found out how dirty this car was. The first thing he always says is, "Why don't you wash that car?" May have to do that as soon as we can get her on the road, but for now, let's get that oil pan off. I should have all the bolts out of it. I figured it would not just push off, so I brought Mr. Persuader. Oh. Come on. All right. This is as far into an engine as I've ever been. Are you kidding me? Is this really not going to come out? No. No. That's great. Yeah, all the bearings just destroy everything, Gary. Okay. So, yoink. The bearings look like they're in pretty good shape. All right, so here are the bearings. I don't see any chunks missing out of them, I don't think. There's the dipstick. Here's the fuel or the oil pickup thing. That's fine. Alright, this thing we're going to want to clean. So how do you take this off? Ouch. What is this over here? What is this? Or does it just twist off? I'm terrified to do that. Because that's pretty gunky on the inside here. And of course, the thing is on the other side. I mean, there's got to be a way to kind of get that off, though, doesn't there? I mean, there is a way to get that off. I just have to figure it out. Let me come at it from the other side. All right, what are we looking at here? What do we got? All right, we got let's try using a vice grip to get this out. I'm going to have to just clean all the tools we use today thoroughly. Oh, okay. It does have a little tab. Maybe if we can kind of bend that down without breaking it, because that's probably unobtainium. Oh, it's a cotter pin. Oh, I have one of those. Okay. Aren't you happy? Got the cotter pin out. So now this should just slide off. Okay. Ta-da! Alright, let's get out from under the car. We've kind of done an inspection of this, and it looks like it looks in the Car Mechanic Simulator video game, so that's good. Yeah, so let's get out from under the car and let's clean this oil pan. Yeah. Alright, there's a crack in the gasket there, so I don't think I can reuse this gasket. In fact, I don't see the gasket on half of it. Anyway, here's why I went through all of that work. Because here is the sludge. And that's what we don't want in the engine. So we've got to get that all cleaned up before we can, oh, you can see me in the reflection, hello, before we can do anything else with this particular unit. So let's figure out how to do that. To help break up the sludge that were on the 20 bolts that held that in, I've got it in some gasoline, kind of just chillaxing, and hopefully that'll make it pretty clean. And if it's still dirty, we can hit it with some brake cleaner. And I stocked back up on brake cleaner. We got some new oil, 10W30, high mileage, non-synthetic. I have some zinc for it as well. We've got paper towels, and then to get the sludge out, I've got an idea. Something that's brown and sticky. It's a stick. Get it? The plant, all right, so see, like this would never, ever have cleaned out through a million oil changes. So I'm glad that I did not try that. That would have been a mistake on my part. So we probably did a good deed and saved this engine. I mean, that's a lot. So I'm going to scrape this all out, and then I'm going to get some brake cleaner and really try and, oh, that goes all the way back there. Okay, so I'm going to scrape this all out and get some brake cleaner, and look at that. Get some brake cleaner and clean it out really good so it can be totally clean. I mean, what is that, lead? Sludge. Okay, so yeah. That's unfortunate. I will say, the glamorous part of car work is probably like the painting. And then the least glamorous part is this. Whatever you want to call this. Engine work, oil work. It's not for the faint of heart. I am just burning through the consumables. I've gone through 2 cans of brake cleaner, like 5 pairs of gloves. Might have even ruined my pants, but we are starting to make some progress. We got a good portion of that sludge out. I'm gonna get some more brake cleaner and spray it down, and then start getting paper towels to kind of try and get it out of there. But we've gotten a huge portion of it out, and you can see the dent in the pan right there. I will try and hammer that down. Maybe that'll help. I don't know, but it's cleaning up a little bit at least, so that's good. All right, we got the inside pretty clean. Now we're going to work on trying to gussy up the outside a little bit. It's going to take a minute. I think I severely underestimated the amount of supplies and time it was going to take to clean this up. starting to see some silver, but it ain't fast. You know, I wonder, maybe these would help. Let's try the brass. I remember I said to Al one time that the more you have to struggle and fight to get a vehicle, the more you're going to love it. So I'm really going to like this car, so that's the good news. Just never ends. Now it's raining in Texas in the summer. But despite all that, we are making progress, slowly but surely. If you undertake this project yourself, just be aware that everything you use and bring on this is going to be just ruined. Except, hopefully, the pan. I mean, for all I know, this pan could have been on here since the Truman administration. After about an hour and 40 minutes, not quite done with it yet, maybe about 65–70% done, but I'm losing the light and I'm pretty much all out of brake cleaner, and this is a horribly disgusting job. Like, it's rough. My camera ran out of juice too, so we're on cell phone. But I'm gonna have to leave this and come back and get some more stuff later, because it just, well, I mean, you can see, like, it's just full of gunk. Alrighty, I decided to go foamy today. We're gonna let it eat on that for about 20 minutes and see if we can work to get it clean finally. Engine degreaser, maximum strength. It's been about 15 minutes, and I mean, that looks pretty clean. It's still working on this side, but I think it's time to try and scrub some of that off. Hopefully this engine foamy degreaser, heavy duty, will have been able to eat through some of that and make it a little bit more palatable for our new brush, because our old brushes have been just completely destroyed. So I got a new one. And yeah, so I'll start scraping on this and see if we can get it all cleaned up. Well, I don't know if it's the combination of the new brush that's bigger or the chemicals, but this seems to be coming off quite a bit easier. We'll keep working on this and I'll come back to you when we're done. I'm still working on getting this cleaned up. There's some gaskets still on there. And I noticed that either the front main seal or the rear main seal has a big old crack in it. I hope the gaskets I ordered to replace this will have that, but I seriously doubt that they will. But both of those are just shot, so we're gonna have to take those out and figure out what to do with that. The sides of this are kind of coming along. I've been scraping on it for about 30 minutes, and it's showing some improvement, but I'm gonna keep scraping on it for a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna hit it with one more dose of the degreasing compound and then try and spray it off to get it as clean as possible to accept some rust-proof stuff and some paint, because we want to try and save on this as much as we can. Although I'm starting to think I maybe should have just bought a new one, because this has been hours of disgusting work, but I think we can bring her around. And I may even try to hammer out that dent right there. I don't know, that could be dangerous, but I might do that. It took about 20 minutes to kind of get the gaskets out of here. They were both cork, so I just used a screwdriver and just kind of just jammed on them. They were I'm not an expert mechanic, but I'm thinking that possibly one of the reasons this whole unit here was as dirty as it is because maybe both the front and the rear of these failed, allowing oil to kind of leak out and then just coat this thing for decades and decades. But I don't know. I am pretty sure that the gaskets I ordered for this don't have the big Humpty parts at the front and the back. So I'm gonna have to figure out where I can get those, because those are, I believe, requirements if you want the car to continue running more than a few seconds. But we're getting close to finishing up the cleaning of this project, which has been, it's been an intense adventure, we'll say that. Though I would also like to note that it has been a lot of work, a lot of filthy, dirty work. It's in these small things that most people aren't even going to ever notice, like a clean oil pan, that you really make the difference in your project being something you should be proud of for having completed, having accomplished. My buddy Al from Aeromech, he was showing me how to install some lights in my house a couple years ago, and he mentioned that when you're finishing up the project and putting the faceplate back on, you want all of the screws to either point up or horizontal. He likes up. And even though that doesn't mean anything, like you can still screw it in just as fine if they're all cattywampus to each other, it's a sign that you care and you take pride in your work, and that is really important. Otherwise, why are we doing any of this? Because I want this car to work well, and it's something that I want to be proud of, getting it back on the road if I can. So taking the time to, as correctly as I can, do all of these little things is, I think, going to pay dividends in how I feel about it. So that's why I'm spending as much time on this as I am. The remnants after moving it, it's pretty gross indeed, but thankfully we got all that off of there. Now for the setup here, I've got it just on a trash can to kind of give it some height, and we've gotten, well, this sludge kind of got on as it was sitting upside down, but we've gotten a huge portion of the sludge off. So I'm gonna get this cleaned off, and we'll get back to you. Okay, we've got all the big chunks of sludge knocked off of it now, and it's fairly clean. So we're gonna use this, the last of it, and kind of just coat it and let it eat for about 15 minutes. And theoretically, we should be able to just kind of spray it off with some water. So let's give that a shot. Thank you. People always liking my car. All right, well, that's pretty much done. So now we'll just wait about 15 minutes and spray it off and see what happens. Hopefully it'll be nice and shiny. All right, it's been about 15 minutes, so we'll take this little hose here and wash it off and see what we got. I mean, it certainly is quite a bit better than it was. If you couldn't tell from any time you see a picture of me right around now, summer in Texas is quite humid. So the products I'm going to use on this are supposed to be used in lower humidity than I am capable of providing it. So again, we're going to be testing the limits of the products we're using, but I'm going to kind of dry this up because it will never ever dry on its own out here. And then we can go about starting to, you know, rust treat it a little bit and prevent it. And is this perfect? No. Is it better than it was? I think so. I'm trying to make it as good as I can make it with the skills, knowledge, and resources that I have. So it's not going to be perfect, but hopefully we'll be able to preserve it so it can last for many, many more years. I don't know, like, I could try hammering that out. I've never done that before. We'll give it a shot. As I've said, I've never done this before, but I have watched 3 seasons of Forged in Fire. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this one-handed. I think the goal is just gonna be to kind of tap on that. Well, I tapped on it for about 5 minutes with the hammer, and nothing moved. So maybe it needs a stronger blow than I'm willing to give it. Given the age of the metal, I don't want to break through. That would not be good. So yeah, let's I'm gonna take some brake cleaner and just spray up the inside here, because there's cork that kind of got past me, and kind of clean this out really well. And then we will move on to the next phase of it, which will be the Rust-Oleum kind of protectorant. Alrighty, I got her all cleaned up, dried off, sprayed down with brake cleaner. So that's drying. For today's flavor, we're going to be using this Krylon Rust Tough. It's 40% stronger. It's protective high gloss enamel, which I'm hoping the high gloss will make that easier to clean in the future, should that ever need to happen. It's direct to metal and quick dry. I don't know about in this humidity, but the idea being that this will help protect against the rust, and also make it look a little bit nicer than it currently does. I could not, as I said, get that dent out, but we're gonna have to just live with that. Let me finish shaking this and we'll get back to you. All right, the temperature is about 86 and it's about 79% humidity, which is hotter than this should be and way, way more humid, but it's what I got. So let's give this a shot, see if we can preserve on this a little bit. I mean, I guess I got the blue kind. I think it's looking better. I will say that it doesn't seem to be looking worse, at least. Kind of looks like a little car, like a little toy car. I might have needed 2 cans of this. Okay, we got the first coat on. I wonder if I should have done a primer first. The primer I have isn't rust stopper, unfortunately, but that might have held that color a little bit better. Maybe I do color, primer, color. That'd be ridiculous. All right, so this should take about 15 minutes to tack up. Oh, wait a minute. 1 minute. Okay, it should take 1 minute between coats. So we'll try the second coat. And again, we're trying to get this as good as we can and make it last as long as we can. They make this look so easy to do on TV. Ugh. Okay, we're coming along. And look at that, we got some Kentucky bluegrass now. Excellent. That's wonderful. I think I might have enough for 1, maybe 2 more coats. And then we'll just let this baby dry and see how it looks. Although, I think it's looking better. I mean, at least it's one color and not caked in grime. So, small victories. It's not perfect so far, but we're doing what we can. In fact, I'm going to let that sit for a few minutes before we finish the last coat. Alrighty, let's get that last coat on. See how shiny we can make this. Okay. Not looking too bad. Oh, you know what? I do have a clear coat. Should we put that on? That might make it even easier to clean. Alrighty, a clear coat hopefully will protect it and give it extra resistance to grime. Okay. I don't know. Let's see. It appears to be ruining the finish we had. Let's not do that anymore. Okay, no clear coat for this. We'll let you sit and turn blue. Well, everyone, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Red Cap Mechanic. I am pretty exhausted. That's a project. I think we've made a lot of improvements. It is cleaned up much better than it was. I just need to get the gaskets for it and the oil, the front end and the rear end oil things to keep the oil from coming out. They're more gaskets, they're circular. So when we come back next week, we'll start cleaning the grime from where that is. Hopefully I'll have all those gaskets in and can reinstall the pan and then fill it with oil, and that should be good to go. And hopefully we will never have to do this project again. And then we can move on to some more fun stuff like the carburetor. Hopefully my brake parts will be in at some point so we can actually do that too. But yeah, we've still got a lot to do on this old girl. But we are making progress, and sometimes a little bit of progress is better than nothing. So I hope you all enjoyed watching. If you have any thoughts or ideas, please let me know. I really enjoy reading your comments below and hearing what you guys have to say and your thoughts. I've gotten a lot of really good tips from you all, so I really appreciate that. And I hope that if you guys are working on any projects, be it a classic car or whatever, that you guys are having success and enjoying it, because that's what it's all about. Because keeping these beauties on the road is it's a labor of love. We'll put it that way. But if you own one, you know, and if you don't own one, you can get one. And then you can live a life like me, you know? It's a lot of fun. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time on Red Cap Mechanic.